What you just heard was the Workin' Day and Night horn section by the great Jerry Hay. And by the way, if you're interested in learning how to actually write this kind of thing, I have a whole course on just that. I just lowered the price. It's really good. If you're interested, please click the links in the description and check it out. It's for brass as well as string writing, kind of all instrumental arranging. I take you through from like basic music theory all the way up through this kind of thing. So I think it's really good. I think you might like it. It's $100 if you buy it outright. I don't know how long I'll keep the price like that, so get it while you can, or it's in my $20 a month subscription. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get into the breakdown. So let's see how this awesome horn line is accomplished. We have two sections of the line that have been recorded separately, okay? Now, what we're looking at here is 4 trombone parts. The original was trumpet, trombone, I believe it was tenor sax, and bari sax. So shout out Bill Reichenbach, the original trombone player on it, by the way. Obviously, the first trombone, I'm playing on soprano trombone, acting as the trumpet. Bass trombone, I'm playing instead of a bari sax, and one of the trombones is the other saxophone. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this. I'm just playing it all on trombone, because that's what I got. But we see this line here that is not what you just heard. This is only one part of it. So I'm calling it a split where we have the entire section recording this. Let's hear it without drums just so you can see what I'm talking about. And it repeats. Right? So that is a super cool horn line that, by the way, anybody would be super happy with if you just had that. It sounds awesome. Here, let's hear it with the drums. You can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so that is one horn line. Now, I want you to focus on one thing, which is how short these notes are. You can see there's a lot of staccatos written, but there's one tenuto, that line on top of that note, that says that note should be long. So that's a do-da, ba-da, ba-da, ba-ba-ba, boo-da, the boo-da, right? But it's a 16th note. It's the shortest note we have on here, and that's the long one, right? So for the most part, everything is absolutely short. So listen again with the drums and see how it all slots and see how short there is. See how much space there is in between every single one of these notes. You see what I'm talking about? There's a lot of space there. So Jerry Hay said, well, there's a lot of space. We could put something else in there, right? Take a look at the first measure. So we have ba-da, ba-ba, ba-da, ba-da. Okay? That's the rhythm there. Well, let's imagine we have 16 16th notes there, right? Just da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da, okay? Well, what if we take out the notes that are already there, right? What would that rhythm look like? So every 16th note, other than the ones that are in this first measure, would be ba 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 da. Okay, it's a cool line. Ba 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 da. And Jerry Hay basically took this as inspiration and doubled this horn section and wrote something that fills it in. Now, importantly, it doesn't fill everything in. There's still some syncopation, there's still some space, because that's what makes something interesting. If it was just decka 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 the whole time, that wouldn't be an interesting horn line. So let's check out the second split. So forget this happened for a second and check out this one. So here's a completely different horn line, right? Again, unison rhythm, everybody's playing the same rhythm here. And this is what this one sounds like without the drums. and then it stops there, so you can have the line actually end and not go on forever. That is the second split. So this fills in a lot of those gaps. Again, not all of the gaps, but most of them. And we have this really awesome texture. Again, look at how short these notes are. Every single one of these is very, very, very short and punchy. And so that's going to allow this kind of filling in the gaps because there are still gaps. Let's hear it with the drums and listen to how each one of these syncopations slots perfectly. Right? So that is such a cool line, again on its own. Again, anybody would be happy with it. But this is double tracked, and they actually are together in the end mix. Now, one interesting thing that Jerry Hay usually did with his mixes is he would have them double tracked. So he would have the whole section on the left, hard panned left in your left ear, and then record the whole section again, hard panned right in your right ear. So the whole section is actually doubled. And kind of a cool technique that he would do is he would have the trombone and the tenor or alto sax, whichever one he had, switch parts when they did that. Because they're obviously going to be playing different, harmonies in the chord. And what that allowed him to do is to make sure that no matter how it was mixed, you would have both of those notes in the chord in the final mix. Maybe the saxophones were pulled back because they were a little bit too bright, but the trombone would still be playing both notes of those chords in the left and the right. It'd be a different one, right? And then the same thing the other way. Maybe the trombone was too much and they had to pull that back. Well, now the saxophone would be playing both of those notes. So what we're having here is that on steroids, because now we have the whole section playing a really cool horn line, and then the whole section playing another really cool horn line. It's possible the whole thing was double tracked twice, so we had both sides in both ears. I don't know how they actually did it, but let's take a look at the final product. So we have this. Now, nobody ever played this whole line, this whole 16th note phrase. It was just the first section and the second section, but if we put those on top of each other, this is what it looks like. Kind of a mess, and something that nobody could ever play accurately, I don't think. So, let's see what it sounds like with no drums. This is the final product where we put both of those splits on top of each other. Come on. That is why this is one of the most, if not the most, iconic horn line of all time. But I want you to really focus on those spaces, right? He's filling in all of the spaces, but there are still a few syncopations. And on beat 4 of every measure, there's a space. That's a pretty strong beat, right? And that is going to be a space for everybody to feel the time, sink back into the drums, and groove. If it's just 16th notes the whole time, you don't get that. That's why this is really, really cool. It's not just that there's notes happening the whole time. Obviously, that's cool, and they're jumping all over the place, but the spaces still being there are what makes it really groovy. So let's go back to the full arrangement with the drums. Listen to it one more time. Come on, how can you not love that horn line? Super fun to play, but also really fun to listen to. Jerry Hay, we owe you a lot. Again, if you are interested in learning how to do this kind of thing, check the links in the description. Got a whole course on it. I don't know how long I'll keep at that price, but for now it's there, so get it while you can. Thank you for watching. This was super fun. If you're interested in this kind of thing, there's so many more horn lines, so comment below if you want me to do more of this kind of breakdown. I'd love to do it. And yeah, thank you to the Patreon donors for making all these videos possible. If you want to help out as well, go to patreon.com Classical Trombone. They got access to this a couple weeks ago, so there's lots of behind the scenes and early releases for you, and sheet music, audio downloads, all sorts of good stuff. But thank you for those of you who have already donated, and find me throughout the week at Classical Trombone, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. And I'll see you all real soon. Peace.